Hey guys, Tom Moran here from Tom's Big Spiders, about to bring an balfouri update. Caught a couple cool things in the communal, including a bunch of them all out together. But before I do that, I just want to address Fatal Fangs. I am out of the competition. Unfortunately, it looks like Gar and I's battle ended up being disrupted by voter fraud. Toward the end, it was a really close match, but basically there were hundreds of votes coming in for like in a 10-minute time period for both sides. So obviously somebody was abusing the system by using VINs or something of that nature. And come to find out, this has been an issue all through the competition, with other matches being kind of swayed one way or another from somebody coming in and getting a lot of votes. So unfortunately, there were two that were heavily impacted by this time around. Gar and I's competition being one of them. Gar, being the heck of a nice guy that he is, ended up pulling out. He won at the end. He was ahead on the whole thing, but decided he didn't want to win that way because it was obvious somebody was meddling with it. So Gar, thanks so much. That was, fantastic of you, and I honestly followed suit. I am no longer in the competition. They asked me to continue because he pulled out, and I'm not going to do that. There's no point in it for me. For me, it was a fun competition. I wanted the best clip to win. Thought Gar had a great one. He probably won that thing legitimately. Unfortunately, because people had to go in there and screw it up, it left out. Apparently, some people were blaming Gar for cheating, which is ridiculous. I can tell you right now, it wasn't Gar, nor do I really believe it was probably somebody in the competition. If it was anybody, it's probably somebody trying to thwart the whole thing and undermine it and rig the voting, but who knows? Anyway, Gar and I at least have decided to go out. The other people can decide what they want to do. The competition will be still going on. There was some shenanigans with another video, but not my business. Whatever anybody wants to do, if they're okay with it, so be it, but we're done. So Gar and I will be collaborating in the future because I feel like people need to see that he and I are totally okay. I totally respect him as a keeper, as a YouTuber, and I thought it was a really classy move because he could have just walked away with that, and he didn't feel good about it. So we're both out. So done with Fatal Fangs. Unfortunately, thank you all that voted. Too bad people couldn't have kept it on the up and up and voted appropriately and not, cheated and screwed the whole thing up. Kind of undermines the whole point of a competition like that. So enough about Fatal Fangs. We're moving off from that. Here's some balfouri footage that I think you guys will appreciate. Okay, to kick this one off, here we got a shot with several of the balfouri in it. Now, I've alluded to this before in other videos, but these guys tend to disappear during the winter. I found this both with the three that I kept separate and the communal arrangement I have here. For some reason, they seem to detect right around November or so when the weather gets colder and the air inside my house probably gets a lot drier. They seem to pick up on it and they disappear. Now, when I had my ones separately, I barely caught them out at all. These guys lately, however, I've been catching out quite a bit, which has been great because I've gone whole months with only seeing one or two of them out. And my best shot to catch them out is usually first thing in the morning. This is about 5:05 in the morning. I had just gotten up, was getting ready for work, and I get ready in my tarantula room, believe it or not. And once I flicked on the lights, one of them actually shot into the tunnel. That's why I was looking into that tunnel earlier. So I caught even more than this out. But here's a good shot of a lot of them out and about during the morning hours, and I got a funny feeling they're much more active at night. I do want to set up my camera at one of these days. I do have a night vision camera, and I want to set it up to try to catch footage of them out and about at nighttime because, again, they're not as shy as the ones I kept separately. Those I would never catch out regardless, basically. These guys I do catch out quite a bit during the day, but only one or two here and there, and they're kind of exploring. I don't usually catch a lot of them out like this one here where we got 1, 2, 3, 6 of them there. Spare you my counting. So this was really cool to see, and as you're going to see in a moment, there is an interaction I've been trying to catch again on camera for quite some time. A couple of years ago, I caught two of them kind of tapping on each other, not in a breeding sort of way, but almost in a pecking order sort of way. And here we go, right over here, these two over on the right. You can see they're entwined. One's a bit bigger than the other, the one on top, and they're doing that tapping thing. Now, again, this is conjecture. This is just my guess, but this definitely seems to be like some type of dominance behavior. And I would guess that if you're going to keep a bunch of spiders together in a communal setup, there has to be some type of hierarchy. There has to be some type of pecking order. And I think what we're seeing here, again, just my guess. I don't want people running around saying Tom said this is absolutely true, but it sure fits. You can see the other one now is kind of submitting and going underneath the other one and into the tunnel. And if you watch, the one on top continues to tap it right there. And it'll do it again right in there. So it looks like that one, quote unquote, won. So it basically showed dominance over the other one. The other one backed off. And I would honestly expect this from any type of animal where they're living in a bunch of them in a pack or in a group situation. Sort of like something I witnessed with my dogs. And I'm particularly excited to post this clip here because Billy was actually the one that caught this one and ran into the room to get me and says, I think one of your male balfouris is making a sperm web. The fact that she recognized this kind of blew me away. I mean, obviously she's been doing the spider stuff with me for quite some time and has picked up a lot just from shooting these videos. But that was a really cool moment. But she was absolutely right. Indeed, this is one of the males making a sperm web. I don't catch them doing this very often. And that's often the case when you have mature males that are making the webs. They seem to be rather secretive with the whole process. Now here you can see it working as little pedipalps, an emboli into it. A lot of times what they will do when they make the sperm web is they will slip underneath it upside down. So I've had people email me pictures. I think there's something wrong with my male. He's dead on his back or not molting or something. And what that will be is basically them filling up and getting ready. So these little guys, obviously, from what you see here, are locked and loaded. And some of my females are to a point where they should be mature. Here he is from another angle going ahead and filling up. So I think there's a very good chance that at some point, if there hasn't been already, and we will see in a moment that I think there probably has been, there's going to be some breeding. So at this point, it seems almost an inevitability that we're going to have slings. Again, I've mentioned this several times. I'm fascinated and excited by it, but at the same time terrified because I'm worried that the slings will basically upset what's going on in this communal. I don't know how the females will act toward each other if two of them or more than one of them have babies. And as you can see here, if you need further proof, here they are in the middle of mating. This is, again, probably about 5 or so in the morning. And I've been catching them doing this much more often. And in the past, the females haven't looked particularly receptive, but that seems to be changing. They seem to be hanging around. I've caught a couple that I'm pretty sure we got insertion on. And there is a large female who is quite chubby, who hasn't been out and about lately, and again, there's a suspicion that she might actually be bred. The last time I saw her, she came out, she was much fatter and stockier than the other females. So there could be babies in the future, and I can't wait to see what happens, but very, very nervous that it could upset this communal. But fingers crossed that if and when it happens, things go nicely, and we get to witness some of that legendary mothering behavior from the M. balfouri. All right, so caught some cool things there. I will tell you the tapping, I caught that once on video. I've seen it a couple more times to a lesser degree. I was so excited that happened when I caught them out this time. But again, anything I say about these is purely speculation. They have not been witnessed in the wild living communally. So again, people will always point out they're not a true communal species because we haven't seen it in the wild. However, from what I've seen from mine, in captivity, they sure as heck are, and I've seen some really interesting behaviors that almost seems like a dominance behavior, that tapping. Again, speculation. Please don't run around and say Tom Moran said they actually show, dominance behavior or whatnot, but that's what it looks like. If you watch, we have dogs. We watch the dogs kind of do their posturing. That was kind of a posturing. Both of them met, kind of tapping to see who was going to win. The other one ended up going in the hole. The other one walked on its merry way. So to me, it seems like if you have a situation where spiders are going to be able to live communally and with each other and cooperate, there has to be some type of hierarchy. It just wouldn't work if they were all running amok, fighting over food. So it almost seems like they have established that, which points to a level of socialization I don't think we've seen in tarantulas before. So other people that are keeping them out there, my buddy Alex from Tarantula Haven just put out a great M. balfouri video. It was a collab with a bunch of collab with a bunch of different other YouTube keepers on it, which they had some great information on that. I would encourage people to try to keep these guys and keep track of this stuff. Get the camera out, catch some of this stuff on video, because this is all really important. And again, I hope somebody at some point goes over to Socotra Island and films these guys in their natural habitat so we can see finally definitive proof of this communal behavior in the wild. I honestly don't think it just sprang up. They've only been kept in the hobby for a couple decades, maybe tops, maybe not even that, maybe 10 years. I don't see that triggering something in their DNA, some type of behavior, because now they're kept together in somebody's collection, suddenly that this behavior would go out. But again, it hasn't been seen in the wild, so until then, it's only speculation. That'll do it for this one. I fear I've done more talking than we actually had videos, so I apologize, but some cool stuff there, and I did want to address the Fatal Fangs thing. So that's it for me. If you haven't checked out my videos before, they're going to be around in here. If you want to subscribe, very much appreciated. You can click the little circle up there. As always, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you guys all next time.